Oh, I did the thing again where it kicks you out. Stop. Put me in, coach. All right. We're going to check YouTube real quick. Make sure everything is running. Out. Live. Not the Experian ad. That's not what I want to see live. All right, YouTube's up and running, so we're going to move on to Twitch real quick. Make sure that's up and going, hitting the button. Bring it on, Twitch. Last live. Right now. Put me, I swear to you, coach, put me in. Thank you. That's all I wanted. Cool. So, that being said, we're going to put this on chat only. Boom, boom. Grab the phone stand. And we are good to go. Time to try something a little bit new tonight. And put in like some lobby music, essentially. Sometimes you just need like a little bit of lobby music going. And at least until we start, I won't actually play that music. So I just picked one of the Dark Fantasy Studio tracks that I think is pretty chill. It's actually in the D&D music overhaul as being a track that you can chill with people who just don't seem to really care. So here we are. Here we are. But what I really want to talk to you about before we get started is there will probably be more streams coming in the future, not necessarily all D&D related, but on a really cool front, I tried something that I've been thinking about for a while, and I haven't had a chance or a reason to try it out, so I didn't yet. But I have found that from my laptop, I can use multiple cameras at once. I have another thing to check, but it seems like regardless of which cameras I'm using, if I put two of them on the same hub, it won't accept any more cameras than that, no matter what. So I'm thinking of adding in a few other hubs and seeing if I can run more cameras, because the more cameras I have running at the same time, I have them set up with the Stream Deck so I can just switch between them. It'll be way easier for me to run board and card games where you can see everything. Not necessarily all at the same time, but the fact that we can switch between the cameras means things will for sure get easier when you need to see things. Because in the past, I've run things like hang things down from the chandelier. Uh, I have like a miniature holding board that I actually hung from the chandelier and put one of my, I think it was my Vita originally was the thing that was in that. And I would hang it down when we recorded like Super Powerful Bonanza. And there are tons of board and card games that I would love to record in the future. And now I sort of have a way to do it. I got to run a few more tests to see how many I can get. But as of right now, I can for sure run 3 cameras off that computer. The problem is one of them is the built-in camera, so like that's obviously the hardest one to aim properly at anything, because if that laptop is facing us, it won't be as useful with that camera as other things would be. I'm going to try with other hubs. It's not like I only have one hub. I even have a bunch that are powered elsewhere because, but there's this thing where it's like, oh, if you have a self-powered hub, it's supposed to be a better option. But it honestly depends on the device it's plugged into, because things like the PlayStation, my powered hubs, the PS4 and the PS5 do not like. Nothing runs through them. But my just straight USB and then split hubs, the PlayStations love those. So I have to run some more experiments. But I know for sure I can get a multi-camera setup. Obviously, there'll be tons of wires all over the room, and I don't know exactly how I'm going to get those out of the way, but we'll see. I mean, it's not all for me. I I I would like to. While playing on Cockatrice is fun, there's just something about, especially if you play Magic, like holding the cards in your hands and like showing them to people. I need that in my life. But I'm also the issue with having the multicam setup is that I don't know if there's going to be a spot like I could try putting the Stream Deck under the table or something and pressing the buttons with my feet, but I don't know how to get it close enough that one of the people that's playing can change the cameras. I think realistically you need someone to be operating that setup. So I don't necessarily mind sitting out on a game and just manning the cameras, but like I feel like in the future that may become an issue. What's up, DM Shin?
Going on, DM Okami? What's going on, everybody?
I just
Pardon my.
realized that I picked this because this song was chill, but I just realized I bet this is what Grim thinks drow music is.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I think that tracks. I hate you for being right. I think that tracks.
Thank you, Brain. I needed that. I didn't even. Oh my God, that's fantastic. Oh
That is
man.
glorious. This
Oh.
is this is exactly what Grim thinks. Drow music.
Whew.
All
Oh,
right.
that's fantastic. Oh my God. I'm gonna make a
Uh.
highlight of that.
Oh man.
We are going to be down DM Lacara tonight, so it's just us boys tonight. Oh my God, boys! I don't think anybody
Oh,
else
it's
is
the
going to show up.
boys tonight. Now, I mean, not to say that we don't expect our fellow DMs to, or anyone who wants to join us here at the round table to join us.
Mm,
But typically it's us.
yeah.
But we know that all the other DMs do follow up, listen out, and are available.
Mm-hmm.
So we always give them their shout outs.
It's true. Uh, you guys out there help decide that tonight we're going to take a look at some tools. So I don't know if you knew this, DM Shin, because I didn't until the end of last week's episode, but they redid the token editor.
They
Like,
did?
the token editor is not what it used to be, where you like
Ah.
were like, I'm gonna check a body type, and then you just doodled or slapped some stuff on it. Oh no. Somebody took those basic designs and like they tried to make almost every creature, and now you search through and then you edit one thing that's already there. It has so much more built in than it did before.
So they called the people who did the character design in like really crazy Skyrim mods. And
Mm.
they said, hey, do what you do, but for tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So we're gonna
I
get
was not
silly.
expecting
I
that.
wasn't either. I was like, wait, where's the? What do you mean the new token editor? Where? Well, huh? And they're like, oh no, we fixed this up, and it's not even the 2 minute tabletop guys anymore. It's the people who are working for them redid the token editor. And I'm like, oh my, you guys have like a whole team now. Good for you. I thought it was just that
I
one extra guy who helped last week. No, they have a whole team.
I'm looking. I may or may not have jumped ahead.
It's all gravy.
But wow, they really went all out. I also see some interesting licensed pieces in their token editors.
I didn't even get that far yet. I went through and like
Oh,
used it a little, but I was like, "Whoa, this is not." I feel bad now that last week I was like, the token editor is pretty bare bones. Like you just pick a body type and then doodle on it, because that is not what it is anymore.
oh, this is extremely dense.
So, that being said, if you want to follow along with us or you want to use this tool yourself, if you're on YouTube, you can click the description. There's a link. If you're on Twitch, I'm going to share the link and I'm going to pin it for the next 30 minutes because we might be here a while. There's a lot more. Wow, Multifaros is really loud.
We could. No,
Lower
we
him a
could.
bit.
I wasn't really sure how we were gonna tackle tools, so I have to say I'm coming into this quite on the fly. So
This
let's
is
see.
the beauty of it. There's still things we haven't talked about yet, so we
Yeah, this
gotta
is our
knock
first
them out.
tool.
It's
Yeah,
cool.
this is our first episode.
Welcome, welcome. We hope by the end of this episode, we will have shared at least one thing with all you DMs out there, or GMs, or referees, or uh,
Table masters, whatever you call yourself.
whatever you call yourselves. For some reason, my brain was like, say flautist, and I was like, no, that is a person who plays a flute. Why is that the word you are providing, brain?
Flautist is not the title I would expect to give a GM, but now I want all of my players to refer to me as the flautist. The
Oh.
flautist in the room. I hate life. I hate life.
We're not gonna show you this video, even though it is pretty short, comparatively speaking. It's not like the actual D&D Beyond things that are like, hey,
We'll never show you WotC videos.
yeah, this one's pretty short. If you want to, you're more than welcome to watch it. It gives you like a brief overview, but there's like a FAQ for it, which is so cool because it legitimately used to be like pick a body type, hit the paint bucket tool.
It was a step up from a Newgrounds character.
Yes. That is, yes, absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect description.
It's a step up from that, quite literally.
Now, you go on to the token. Oh, first of all, if you don't know what tokens are, well, I'd be very confused for you. But tokens are like the little things you throw on the board to make sure that people know what you're playing. And again, hear me out. You can substitute whatever you want. Just make sure to tell your players this is what it is. You can describe it any way you want. If you don't have to go out of your way. You can just like throw bottle caps on the board or in front of your players and be like, this is the thing. You could be playing entirely theater of the mind, but if you want tokens and you don't specifically have anything, you can come on to the 2-minute tabletop token editor and basically find something that fits pretty well with just about anything.
Yeah. It's very true.
You can even print them if you don't want to play VTT. I have a printout of Sunshine, which I showed y'all last week. The scaling is weird. You got to figure that out on your own, but you can also print them if you don't have physical things that you want to use with your physical players. But yeah, you just type in what you think you want, and it is more than just. Their examples here are like Male Elf Ranger, Tabaxi Cleric. You can put in actual creature names. I don't know how far into the creature names they've gotten.
Like I said, I skipped ahead. I think that's going to be probably one of the first things we should talk about when we open it.
Oh, hell yeah. But it seems
just
like
before we go in,
they tried to go through the monster manual,
Yes.
which kudos. And it's not editing a token. They're like, oh, here's Elf Scout Hero. It's not like that's the only one there is either. There are multiple people making them. They're all in roughly the same style ish. But when you search for something, you be like, oh, this is a cool one. And then you can be like, oh, I'm going to change the colors. And oh, I'm going to add this. I think there's also a paid version, but we'll get to that later. We don't need to worry about that at the moment. But you can edit like all different parts of it. And it's so cool because like when you highlight what part of it is, like a Warframe or something, that part lights up so you know what you're going to edit.
Which is great because you don't have to guess at vectors and spaces, play around with all sorts of odd colorings, and become an artist. This is a fun way, even if you want your players to start. You could have your session 0 be this included in your session 0, where each player, if you're playing, like I'm a digital DM and GM for the most part, so a lot of times I love when people come to me with their own tokens and want to use certain images for tokens. This here is great because I could say, hey, go crazy, make your own token. That's part of our session 0.
I
And then
also did the same thing. Even though I'm a physical GM for the most part, my session 0 was on Roll20, and I was like, hey, and it was the old token editor. I was like, yo, go make your character. And they were like, I can do that? Well, if I told them now, they'd be like, oh, my players would never leave this screen. It would be like when you start an RPG and you just change your character's outfit and your color and your stats for like 17 hours. They'd all still be here.
They'd be trying to adjust the perfect like proportions for no reason. And you'd go insane watching them do it, and you'd be like, you know what, that's enough.
We have what we need. You're only going to use this once, okay? Just chill. You can register for an account, and then you can save whatever you've made as a favorite. You can make collections, so like, oh, these are all the tokens that I'm going to use for this game that I'm running, or these are all the tokens for characters that I want to play in the future. Super cool. Customizable palettes we already talked about. Get started. And for this one, Ruben is the main person behind it. It is not, Garm, Epic Garm, I think, is the guy who made the adventure. Totally different guy. But then there's also people who are here just to make tokens, which is amazing. And you can support them directly through Ko-Fi or Coffee. I'm pretty sure it's intended to be Ko-Fi, but the way that they use it is always buy me a coffee. Yeah. We're going to the token editor.
It's time to edit them tokens. I will say, to the background sounds of passing gotta love never living next to the emergency services, but never knowing the emergency services to come to your area, despite them literally. Gotta love it. That being said, this token editor at a free level is too good. Too good.
There's a dark mode? I didn't even see that before.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's what I needed. Okay, I feel better.
First of all, I don't exist in any browser outside of dark mode. If I see something in light mode and I can't adjust it, it activates an OCD.
Yep.
I blame the fact that I think the Sun is the worst graphics card in human history, but that's besides the point. This website, I just want to really, and again, I think I said it last week, but I really want to give kudos and credit and thanks to 2 Minute Tabletop as a website. This is not any kind of paid promotion. Again, we just really, I can personally say, and I think DM Okami and probably even DM Lacara too, and a lot of the other DMs here at the round table, we can all say that 2-minute tabletop has come in handy at least once or twice. Especially as a fledgling DM, you don't realize how nice it is that the tabletop community as a whole understands that people just want to enjoy tabletop without the price of entry.
Yep.
Because there is no true price of entry to tabletop. It's kind of why this series exists.
It's true.
Show you all the cool stuff.
All right, those of you out there, give me something to search.
Ooh. Can the people hear us in the ethos?
Hey, Waz, what do you want me to... No, I already know what we have to look up first. Let's see if they have Chilin or Kieran's. Okay, they don't have Chilin. Okay, what about a Kieran? Dang, neither of them. Oh, it's disappointing. I really thought stuff was going to come up. Okay. There's a creature in the monster manual, technically. A foo dog. And if you look up... what did I look up yesterday? It was like sea foo dog. And I was like, that's not what that is, but okay. I just happened to look up foo dog. And this is everything that's coming up. There's so many things here.
I just typed dog just to see what pops up. I got a collection. Oh,
this flame
God.
wraith, you could say he's a Kieran if you really wanted to. Hound. Beast pounder. Look at that derpy boy.
Have you seen the Groff?
I was like, what is Groff? I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna find out. What are you?
I need to know what a Groff is.
It's from Strixhaven. Oh, I have this card in Magic. It's the Bayou Groff is the card. It's the dog made out of plants.
Oh my God. Yeah, the plant-based beast. He's like a 5. I know exactly the card you're talking about. Yes. Oh my God, it is the Groff. Okay.
I didn't know he was here as what? He's a CR4? I gotta put a Groff in my games, man.
Yeah, you need a Groff.
He does Swamp Claw, which pulls you under. This is not a creatures episode. I'm gonna leave this page, but I'm gonna remember the Groff.
This is not a This is not a creatures episode. Just so everyone remembers. We are talking about tools. But just going off of this, if you had no idea what, I'm going to give you guys a very fair example of my very first campaign. I had no idea what I was going to do. And I decided to try and run my very own created campaign. It was rough, but I literally did not understand what monsters to slap at my party. And it was a party of 3 people who had never played. Well, one person had played D&D before and the other 2 had never played. And I had no idea what to throw at them. And somehow 2-minute tabletop in its original form gave me a ton of token ideas to play around with that were more than enough to keep my players entertained. This expansion is just throwing ideas at you that you may not realize you were looking for as a GM or DM. Because maybe you were looking for a hound-like enemy for your party, and then you saw a blink dog, and you were like, ooh, wait. Or thorn jackal. I'm just kind of scrolling through some of the other ones they have here. A Yeth Hound. What the?
Oh, Yeth Hounds are great. Cool thing, if you do open up one of the tokens, it has tags here, and you can be like, you know what? Oh, Groffs hang out in the bayou? That's a tag? What happens if I click bayou? Oh, there's only the Groff. Okay. How about Cave? Cave works. If you hit Cave as a tag, it just shows you a bunch of creatures that live in caves. You'd be like, oh, I didn't know I needed. My players are going to the tundra. I can click tundra, and it'll just give me a bunch of creatures, and oh, they're right here. There's even multiple pages? What? I don't know how to see the rest of the pages, but there's multiple pages. There's just so much here that was not here before.
It's fun for the whole family.
This is fantastic. This choker art is sending me, though.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
Yeah.
no, hold on. Since we can, in fact, change all the colors, you can even click. So like I said, it lights up. You can go and click in here. We can make him, if we wanted to. We can make him Naked Zoidberg chasing you.
Please don't do that to people. Don't trigger that anxiety, that fear in the hearts of the viewers. I don't think they deserve that is horrifying.
This is fantastic. Like it's here. What's my accent?
No.
You can change his teeth color. Oh, it's got to be blood red. Oh yeah, yeah, he's coming for a smooch.
Oh no.
You can edit whatever you want. Make them your own creatures. Oh, there's a strangle tag. Okay. It's the choker and the assassin vine. Now, this is all the stuff you can find. You can even go into palettes, much like Warframe, and choose new colors to put on people.
They really outdone themselves.
This is absolutely fantastic. You can save them, so you can use them as your own tokens. Oh, you can even turn on a randomizer to randomize the colors if you don't like them. If you want to go the beat 'em up route, where you end up fighting the same modeled enemy but in different colors all the time, boom, randomized colors. Boom, 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 boom. There's so many options.
That's how you know the enemy's more difficult in a JRPG. It's like, he's no longer green, he's purple now. Clearly, this is the advanced form.
Maybe he has a different weakness. He's in a different biome. Same creature, though. The star over here is apparently patch notes, which is cool. And then here's how you can use help if you need. You can even apparently just straight up drag and drop them somewhere else. Cool.
That's such a handy feature.
Yeah, it is. This is amazing.
Exporting stuff sometimes can be such a pain, especially with certain sites like Roll20. Trying to drag and drop, you just go crazy.
I recently learned, technically Roll20 is also a tool. It's a virtual tabletop. So if you pop out your stat block in its own window and you drag from the compendium, it doesn't work. And I was sitting there for like 15 minutes trying to figure out why I couldn't drag something from the compendium into my popped out character sheet. No, you gotta pop that baby back in and then edit it. But yeah, there's so many options here. You can even go in, and I'm pretty sure you can change their names. I don't know how to do it yet, but I'm pretty sure you can change their names. I'm just gonna go Winter Wolf because Fluffy Wolf, Blight Wolf. Look at that derpy boy.
That is That is some dirt.
The nature spirits. Oh, look at this penguin. Oh, he's named Penguin. Benedict Cumberbatch named him. Penguin. All these snowmen. Snow Golem. Lord Jackal. That's a fluffy boy.
They've really outdone themselves.
There's so many options. This is the biggest werebear I've ever seen in my life. There are even some named characters here.
Yeah.
I saw Oral earlier.
I mean, there's nothing against it.
No? Oh, Goliath Warrior. Yeah, that's the lady. But in addition to all of that jazz, there's also encounters that you can do here. I don't know what encounters do here, but I'm going to assume, yup, that, oh, hello.
What?
Designed for finding a I thought it was going to be an encounter like, here's some tokens that are in the same biome. No.
Oh no, this is a full blown, like, I'm going to give you what they can fight and how much experience.
Oh man, if you're lost, oh, and there's advanced options too. You can choose the
go in and you can literally set the number of monsters you want, the minimum number, pre-created encounters. You can set the difficulty. You can put the number of party members you have. What? And set the CR as high as 20.
I'm gonna put deadly difficulty. Find encounter.
So I did a CR 20 encounter for 6 people. It gave me 2 Remoraz, a Leviathan, and a Shield Guardian.
I did a CR 5 to 8, except it gave me a CR 10 in the Arctic. It gave me 1 Kobold Dragon Shield, 1 Frost Giant, and 1 Giant Walrus. I'm pretty sure that Kobold Dragon Shield is going to be obliterated.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go for 7 monsters. CR 20 deadly against 8 players. It gave me a Kraken.
Ooh. You can even set restrict to type. This is a crazy amount of just free ideas for your campaign. And
on the fly.
This is part of the token editor. This isn't even an encounter generator. It just happens to be baked in.
For free. Look, again, we're not sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form, but we highly suggest that if you need something TTRPG related, you should just go here and start here and see if you can find it, because I support them.
This is fantastic. I had no idea, like,
I'd have never known.
I would have never known if I hadn't come on and been like, we should, especially because DM Lacara had never used it before.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if she had never used it before, I wouldn't have looked too deeply into it to have known that they had such a huge overhaul of the entire system. But this is fantastic. You don't have to roll on any tables or anything. It does all the work for you to generate random encounters. And if you're playing VTT, the tokens are right there.
Yeah.
You can even be like, oh, you can click one of the tokens. He's demon and fantasy. And be like, you know what? You can change all his colors, all his little body parts and stuff too. But you can be like, oh, you know, I would love to learn more about. I think I need some more demons from this group. So then you click that tag, and boom, just all the demons.
Yeah.
I assume, but I have not gotten there yet, that there must be some total amount that you can download for whatever reason, or in one sitting or something like that, because there's another option. Wait, actually there's two more options. I saw, oh, you can click the generate, take me to a random token button. Brass Dragonborn Warlock 2. So you can just be like, I don't know, let me just pop a random guy in here. But there's also token collections.
I feel like you could make an episode on just their token generator alone, which is problematic.
Yeah. The token collection is just buy all of the tokens that currently exist in there.
Yeah. Thousands of tokens. At
Thousands.
2 cents a token. 2 cents a token, thousands of tokens.
And they update it every month, so it's not like you just buy it once and that's it. They'll keep updating the folder.
And it's a one-time purchase, so you'll just keep getting it. Right there, it says one-time purchase.
Oh, they're arranged by artist and then like subtypes as well. Wow, they're going all out on this.
I know this is not a game. This is
And then they're named whatever they're named in the editor. So if you do have the file already and you're like, I don't really like this color, type their name in to the token editor. Pop them up here and then change all of their colors.
And then download it. Bam. Guess what you just did? You made a token. It's too good. Again, it's too good to be free.
Yeah.
But please keep it free because we're thankful for it.
Yeah.
Please keep it free. We are very thankful that it is. But hot damn if it isn't too good to sometimes be free.
Oh, you can also download. So there's different versions where you can say, I want both of the two main editors sets. Or you can say, I only like this one guy's art. I only want his. Or I only want the other guy's. Big discount, though, if you get both of them together. $100 for currently 6,759 tokens.
Do you realize how ridiculous that is to say out loud?
You can even give someone a download as a gift card of that.
A download gift card of tokens. Honestly, that is kind of a cute idea. If you're a new DM, you want to, or if your DM is like your first time DMing, your party wants to get you something cute. I'd be like, that's cute.
I won't lie to you. I'm like, yo, if you are a brand new DM, seed this within your group. Seed that this exists, especially if your DM is an online DM is using a VTT. Like, hey, seed this within your group if you guys want to do. I know not every group does this, but my group in particular does do D&D versary gifts. So I could be like, hey, except I'm mostly a physical DM, so this doesn't help me as much as it would other people. But like, this is fantastic. And
No, this
rather
is
than
glory.
downloading everyone one by one, if you have all the files, you can hit that random encounter generator and then be like, got them, and slide them right into your VTT of choice.
It's perfect.
This is... I didn't expect to already hit this level of like tool within a tool within a tool within a tool. I know
Why not?
on the next couple tools we take a peek at, their websites are just full of tools, and I generally only use one of them, but there's tool on tool on tool on tool. But this is fantastic.
Yeah,
And granted,
glory.
this is just the token editor. 2-Minute Tabletop, I would say, became famous because of maps. So there's plenty other stuff on 2-Minute Tabletop besides the token editor. There's also
Yes.
stickers. Wait, what's this button do? Oh, you can upload your own images and it'll resize them. Interesting.
Oh,
Interesting.
that's kind of cool.
Tool on tool on tool on tool on tool on tool on tool, and I'm down for it.
Oh, I'll always support it.
You can click things in the box, but if you come just straight to the editor, you can be like, oh, hey, I just want to look at some oozes. Boom, here's all the oozes. I almost said the oobs. Nope. You can even search by what was added most recently.
They really went all out. And like just looking, I was saying to you before at the beginning of the stream how like deep they've gone into like their token options. Constructs, aberrations, celestial, like you don't get this in some paid packs.
Mm-mm. Oh, they even
Yeah,
have
that's what
some
I was talking about.
tokens for spell effects. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. They've got everything.
And decor, you can throw in some scatter terrain too. That's nice. And you can
Dare I
buy
say it's fun
all
for the
of
whole
this.
family.
Oh, 100% fun for the whole family. You can buy all of this stuff in one go, or you can just search through one by one and download them. Look for exactly what you need. Maybe you don't need all those PNGs to make your life easier when you're running your VTT. Maybe you just want to come in here every once in a while and be like, you know what? I don't have a thing for... I'm just going to say it. The thing I was looking for most... Actually? What is your name, my guy?
You got my
Hail
instinct by time.
Scourge.
Whoa.
Ah, that's what his name. Ice Arc. One of the different types of Ice Archon. I was looking through my stuff and I had to make do. But bet you there's some ice dudes in here. I keep reading the names underneath them, and I'm like, that's not no mountain goat. That's a frost giant zombie. Yep. Yep. That wasn't no mountain goat.
That is very accurate. But again, like I said, you can easily get lost on this token editor.
Hell yeah.
It is expansive. And quite honestly, like I said before, a tool I think everyone should consider, even if you're a player and you're looking for a token for your character to play, go here. You don't know what you want your character to look like? Play around with the token editor. And maybe you'll come with a description that you could write in for your character while simultaneously coming up with a token. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not two birds with one stone. It's a flock of seagulls with a boulder at this point.
This guy
We
wishes
don't
he was
actually
Zenyatta.
support taking out seagulls with boulders, by the way. I'm not.
Mm-mm.
I'm
Don't
not
teach
trying
them
to
to do that.
kickstart anybody on any like medieval weaponry kicks.
This is... They really went the distance here. Ah! Didn't mean to do that. Oh well, back to the Garistro. Oh, I know what I did. I hit the button on my mouse to open a new tab, but it just resets the tab. But yeah, that.
You're gonna get lost on this website. I can feel it.
Oh yeah, I'm like, oh, maybe I should go back in and hit that random encounter generator a whole bunch of times. I'm not one of those people who rolls on a table and is like, hey, random encounter. That's not how I do things. But there have been plenty of times where I've been like, I can't figure out what should be here, and I'll look at a table and be like, oh, that makes sense. But this random encounter generator over here, if I use some of the advanced options, I could be like, oh, I know I'm going to be here. I know what kind of enemies I want, but I don't know what exactly I'm looking for. I can just and make some stuff. That wasn't the tool we were looking for, but it is the tool we found. It is
in
droids.
fact the tool we found. These are the droids we were happy to find. And if you're also happy to have found things, you know, DM Lacara might not be here, but I
can play her voice.
Contractually
also true.
Obligated to tell you. Because Okami won't tell you himself.
Yeah, no, probably not.
That if you're enjoying, that if you're truly enjoying your time at the round table, and if you've gone back and you've enjoyed everything that you've seen that we've done and helped Okami to do over the course of the past year almost. Well, not quite just yet, but getting
almost.
There. Almost. We'll throw out the banner and the flyers and the flags and everything on that episode. But if you've truly enjoyed everything that you've seen, hopefully the disembodied voice of DM Lacara can explain it better than I ever will. I won't hear her.
That's true.
But I'll know she's here.
Hit the buttons. Do the thing. If you have money, make the buttons give him money. If you don't have money, just hit the buttons that subscribe, and that also gets him money. So you get to feel good either way.
Just kicked in.
I know. I was like, perfect. Perfect. Also, in case you don't want to hear it from DM Lacara, you can hear it from Detective James Carter of the LAPD.
Come on, push the button.
Oh, yeah, Detective James Carter. I think we had the best Rush Hour 2 conversation earlier today about
oh, so good. So good.
But seriously, hit the buttons. Every button helps. Whether you're sharing, liking, commenting, subscribing, reposting, share it on X, share it on. I don't think there's reels, but if you want to clip it and share it on a reel, do that. I don't think Okami's ever going to make like an Instagram page just for this. So maybe one day I can trick him into it, but not today.
I got kicked out. That's right. I deleted my cookies. What is my name on Redbubble? There we go.
Oh yes, the Redbubble shop. Listen, I would be a fool to not tell you of the hard work DM Lacara has put into getting our Redbubble shop up and running with some dope designs and fun stuff for people. Go enjoy it because it's some good stuff. And hey, if you have some extra funds lying around that you can afford to, throw our way, we will happily accept.
It's true, 100%.
Happily. But if you don't, like I said, there are many ways you can help out the channel. We don't care. We just appreciate that we're able to come here and help out Okami. But it would be nice if we could help Okami make some money off of this too.
Yeah. 20 would be good.
Mostly so he doesn't have to go back to the demi-plane of sludge. I fight every day really hard alongside DM Lacara to keep him from the demi-plane. And we're not letting him go back. So you shouldn't either. So help us fight. Help us help Okami. That's been my 5-minute PSA.
I'm getting better at them buttons too.
It's
But
a process.
Yeah. I guess this means it's time to check out the next tool. Which is my favorite. I don't know. This is math, so I can't say it's my favorite, but it is one of my. I realize I never sent you the link to 2-Minute Tabletop's token editor. My bad.
I had it.
Oh,
no, it's okay.
If you would like to check out this CR calculator, which they recently added a tag of 2014 to, because I am hearing that they're changing the way CR works in the new game in 5.5e. But this is the CR calculator for 2014 stats. I mean, you could still use it.
You can't hear my anger, but it's here. Angering.
Yep. But here's a 5e Dungeon Master tool, the CR calculator. And I have some new music for this to play because IRL is a little too happy for this.
Fair.
Come on in. The water's full of murder. But those of you who don't know what CR is, basically it's how tough, at what level a group of 4 to 5 adventurers would be in order to fight this thing. Problem is the way that D&D in general is set up. You're basically smashing 2 glass cannons together to see which shatters first. So
yeah.
CR doesn't necessarily always matter, but it's good to have a basic gist of what's going on.
Agreed. I think the thing that most people don't realize about CR is that balance. I subscribe to the idea that balance is nigh impossible. True balance is nigh impossible in any tabletop. I wholeheartedly subscribe to that theory. And I think that the CR calculator is a good way to figure out if you're overdoing it, but not a good way to balance, because balance is almost a myth in in tabletop RPGs. There's a balance to things until your players or your DM find a way to break the balance. At which point, balance goes out the window and everyone goes to anarchy. Like when your party's barbarian happens to find a bunch of magical tattoos. Found out about that the hard way.
Tell us a story. I almost said of a happy lady.
There was no happiness in my story. Well, not for me, for my player. I was doing a game for some people, and in this session of their game, they'd come across a chest, and I had told them that it had been, robbed from a place from bandits. And they were like, ooh, I wonder what kind of stuff is in there. So I went to Gemini, my AI, and I said, hey, Gemini, because I use it to help me out sometimes. And I was like, hey, Gemini, just give me 10 different ideas for a store in a TTRPG that, objects could have been robbed from.
One of them was a magical ink store.
Ooh.
And so they rolled, he got the magical ink store. And so I went to another site that I use for things, and I was actually going to suggest it as the next page for tools if we didn't have one after this, after the CR calculator, or anything else later. But I was going to suggest it to the people. But I used it to help me generate ideas of what could be in there. And one of the ideas it came up with was magical tattoos. The player got a magical tattoo that essentially gives him a symbiote arm.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know exactly what I'm referring to. I'm not going to say it because I don't want another player to ask for it.
I'm not going to say it. But needless to say, they gained a +2 war axe and a magical tattoo in their encounter that day, and proceeded to fling their axe in rage with their magical arm tattoo all around the battle.
Ooh, that's good.
Balance, there was no idea about balance, was dead. And I realized that I wasn't going to stop them, and I didn't want to. I was so proud of them.
Sometimes when your players aren't actively looking for loopholes and they just find one, that honestly makes everyone's experience better. Like, that's what you want.
Yeah.
When they're looking for loopholes specifically because they're jerks, you don't want that.
Yeah, I don't. It's not fun. That's not what we asked for.
So one thing that's specific about this that I think is quite important is a lot of creatures, because everything in D&D and a lot of tabletop RPGs is very glass cannon-y. A lot of creatures, the first round in combat, they potentially do a lot more damage than they do after that because they have some ability like a breath weapon or an explosion or some spell that they basically can only do once or it's on a recharge, where they do a whole bunch of damage that first round. And if you were to use the CR calculator normally to say that that is the damage they're going to do every round, like if you were determining the CR yourself, then it probably would be skewed because it would be assuming that that creature can output way more than it possibly could. So one thing that this specific CR calculator does explain is that damage per round is averaged over 3 rounds. So you want to go and put in like the average damage that a creature will do over 3 rounds, because generally speaking, most combats are over in 3 rounds.
It's like in 5e at least.
Yeah.
In 5e. Outside of 5e, if you go back in time, it definitely will take you a little bit longer, but in 5e for sure, 3 rounds is usually a good amount of time.
Especially when you have a ton of players to get through. You don't really want to go more than that. You don't want to have entire sessions that are just the middle of a combat.
That's specifically for you.
Yeah.
That is specifically you. And again, nothing wrong with having multiple players in your party. Just be aware. Sometimes you might have more than you. Sometimes we bite off more than we can chew. I will say that for myself too.
But Okami, I think you were probably the best person to tell us a little bit more about the CR calculator. On average, if you're a new DM, what would you say this would be Like, what would you set up as your first encounter as a new DM?
If you want to have like
Take us through it.
you want to have like your very first, hey, this is what we're gonna do. I would say one thing you can do on this one specifically is say you're like, I don't know exactly what kind of creature I want them to fight, but I know, like, I have a gist of how much XP I want them to grab. So you can come over to the chart on the right and just be like, I think they're gonna get 200. I almost said gold. No, wrong. I want them to get 200 XP. So you click that,
Okay.
and this encounter calculator down here will be like, oh, sure, here. You want the hit point total to be like 78. The AC of these creatures is probably going to be 13. You want them to be able to, on average, do about 9 damage per round. They get a +3 to their attacks. Their size is medium. Total hit dice, looking at 17d8, they don't mean one creature having 17d8. They mean
Of course.
total hit dice. You can even throw in. Now this is if you're doing expected CR 1. Using this chart, it just fills in like what the other things are. You can put in monster features down here too, like, oh, we want like a frightful presence from a creature, and then it gives you an example monster, and if you highlight them, it will show you their stat block. They're
That's
all
kind of dope.
basic creatures. Like, none of them are from the. Oh, actually, this is the Monster Manual 25. It has the new stat blocks in there. Huh.
Oh.
That's
Oh,
that.
no.
It wasn't like that last week, I don't think. Cool. It has the new stat blocks, which I wasn't expecting. And
I
also,
don't like it.
this is a way to see them because they are now locked behind the paywall on D&D Beyond, even if they were unlocked when the free rules came out. I noticed that last night. I was like, oh, cool, awesome. Whatever, we don't need to worry about it. You can put in those. So this is just, if you were to click on this side, it would give you the basic stats of your creatures that it thinks you should be putting out there. But if you want to do it the other way, you can reset it. And then you can do it the other way to say like, oh, total, I think my creature should have like 150 HP. Okay. And then I think maybe his AC, I think it would help if for my players to try and beat a 15 AC. I think this guy, damage wise, if this is based on 3 rounds, probably his first round he's going to burst high. So maybe like, I don't know, I'm going to say like 50. But then the next turns, max, he's only going to hit like 25-ish. So it's going to be somewhere in the middle. So like, I think damage per round over 3 should be 38. We'll probably say he probably has like a +5 to his attacks. I'm going to say he's large just because if you're building a random stat block for creatures, remember that the gist is that tiny creatures have D4 hit dice, small have D6, medium have D8, large have D10, huge have D12, and gargantuans have D20s. So it's changing them based on the size. That's just like the gist of how you build your creatures.
It's handy to remember too. I forget a lot. I won't lie to you. I sometimes have to utilize. I had to look a little chart that I had found. I have to look for it. And if I do find it, I'll send it to you and you can put it up for people. But it was literally kind of like a cheat sheet for remembering how to like size up. I guess the term I want to use is size up or guesstimate health and hit die for creatures. Super handy. Super handy.
You will also notice, because I just noticed it, it changed the hit points of my creature when I switched to large.
Oh.
It's putting the evening out. So I put in, I want 150 HP because a large creature, lowered the number of hit dice to more accurately hit that midpoint. And then we'll say Constitution. I'll just go 15 again to make it easy. But that raises its health because it is now applying those 15, that 15 con score. So the plus, what, 3?
Mm-hmm.
For all of those hit dice. So it added on that health. You can give it some vulnerabilities if you want. That'll make it a little bit weaker. You can fly and deal damage, basically just to say that, like, oh, it's probably faster than your players and that kind of thing. We don't need to worry about that. Save proficiencies. We'll say he's got 3 to 4. And now it's built a creature for me. This is what this CR should be now. So you can do it either way. You can click on the monster statistics being like, I want them to fight. I want them to get into an encounter for a CR, whatever. Or you can fill in the stuff down there and it will give you a challenge rating for that one creature that you just built.
This is surprisingly more in depth than I realized.
I didn't realize until today that you can click the chart on the right and it'll build the encounter for you. I've always just filled in the numbers at the bottom. I didn't realize you could do the stuff on the right until today.
So, folks, you see, DM Roundtable is educational for everyone, even the DMs. Even us who have allegedly used the websites.
I was like, what do you mean I can just click over here? And then I saw my mouse cursor change. I was like, oh my god, I've been missing out on this for a while. Very interesting that they have updated the example monsters to the Monster Manual 2025 version when this clearly says that it's the 2014 version. Very interesting choice on their part. I don't know if they're reading from the... I don't think they're reading from the 5e SRD. No, they're reading from their own bestiary, which you can also use. That is another tool built in to this website. So this website is 5e tools. There are tons and tons of tools in here. You've got different books to look through.
There's so much.
Some of them are legit. Some of them are like, oh, where did this come from? Then it has player tools, so you can look up classes, backgrounds, feats, species, other options. You can do a stat generator. You can do this is your life. You can use a name generator. For the Dungeon Master, there's a DM screen where you can build the slots that you want on it. Be like, oh, I want to put this on here. And then like print that out or hold it up or refer to this sheet, which is kind of cool. Adventures, you can look through all of those. You can look through cults and supernatural boons. You can look at objects, traps, and hazards. This site also has an encounter generator and a loot generator. The encounter generator, I honestly think this one specifically is you're making tables. It's not like it just makes it for you like 2-minute tabletops was. It'll make a bunch of stuff and you can roll on the table or you can choose one of them. It's not like, boom, I've already chosen for you. This is a choose your own adventure type thing.
Gotcha, okay.
And then they have a loot generator where I have a different I use a different tool as a loot generator, but this one you can as well do. This one has different kinds of them, so you can do, is this a treasure hoard or not is important, because if it's a hoard, there's usually way more stuff, and a lot of the treasure generators I've come across have the is it a hoard option. But you can just roll on the chart. So, individual treasure for challenge rating 5 to 10, 120 gold. Or you can do the same thing on loot tables, and you can choose what kind of stuff it is. So like other, rarity varies. Roll the loot, and it's a little loot table. with all these wondrous items. Do party loot, which is for the whole group. It's not just one person, or it's not just
Okay.
like a bunch of money. This is like, oh, I think you can get a whole ton of stuff. And then Dragon Horde is the top option, and you choose it by the age of the dragon. It's everything in an adult dragon's horde. And it's actually kept everything that I've put in here. So it's all on one page if I wanted to just add all these things together.
Okay.
And the last option is maps, which, oh, really? I used to
Wow.
use this for Vandelver, and I didn't realize they had pretty much all of the books. I did not know that they had all of the books. If
I
you
feel
need to
like-
use a map reference, 5e Tools has it.
I feel like this was more of an eye opener for you than it might have been for the people watching.
Whoops!
I'm just saying it seems a little bit like you're a little like, oh my goodness.
There's way more stuff here than I thought. This, specifically them having the maps from the adventures and stuff, is interesting because the D&D Beyond, it's not encounters, it's whatever the other feature is where you can like play on the maps, literally just slaps these maps in there. So it's cool that they're also visible here. And then references, you can look up all these different kinds of stuff if you're not sure. The database is enormous on 5e Tools. You can even be like, I want to manage what this shows me. I don't want to see some of the stuff. And you can be like, nah, okay, I'm going to take that out. Homebrew content, I don't want to see that at all. Like, 5e Tools is great. I've mostly used their CR calculator, but they have a lot of extra stuff in there.
Apparently more than even I expected them to have.
Yeah.
But I do love when you're able to get this kind of utility out of a website. Because I can tell you as a digital DM, it is hard to juggle 7 screens.
Yeah.
And even though my regular setup at home is multiple screens, it is still quite taxing to juggle all of my players and their tokens,
And then have to click through 7 or 8 different, tabs to figure out what I needed. Stuff like this being one shot. Look at this. This is even just. Is this the guide?
It has a pronunciation guide. I don't know if the book has a pronunciation guide, but this is a
Wait, is this
pronunciation
running?
guide.
Is this to run Waterdeep?
Yep, I opened up Waterdeep Dragon Heist. I was like, I'll just click it just to see what it's got in there. It has
The full version of Dragon Heist?
I think it's
This is the book. This is the. I'm currently in this campaign.
I
Well, for the
think
second time. Yeah, this is the campaign.
it looks like they it's not every page, but it's everything that's important.
That's literally the chapter. Don't click in. Don't show me more. This is the chapter I'm in right now in water. No, I can't look at the screen. I need you to click away, Okami. Now you're just clicking through more stuff I shouldn't know yet. Well, I already know it because I've played the campaign before, but I'm trying to forget it. It's been 6 years since I've played it.
This is if you I can't even be like if you don't own the books. Technically I do own all the books. Yeah, basically this is yeah. If you need any help with 5e, 5e Tools got you covered. It even has the stuff that is supposed to be, yeah, it has the stuff that's supposed to be digital only on D&D Beyond.
Mm-hmm. I think you just found a hack.
Yeah. This is a good way to be like, hey, I want to run this, but I don't own the books yet. I will one day, but right now, money's kind of tight. So 5e Tools got you covered.
Thanks, 5e Tools.
Thanks. This is, yeah, there's a
Got a
lot more stuff on
friend
here.
in
Another page
5e.
that like I go to all the time, but I only use the one page that I'm currently looking at. There's so much stuff. They added so much stuff. Actually, the 5e Tools probably had a lot of this stuff before today. Like while I was looking at it before, I just used the calculator because that's all I needed. Yeah, you can come look up Lylon, where my players spend so much of their time. Fantastic. All right. Yeah,
That's
check
actually
out
pretty cool.
5e Tools. Anything that you might need help with, they got. I actually used the Traps and Hazards page the other day. I was like, oh, I don't really know how this works. And I was like, oh, they have one.
It's kind of crazy when you start to, and again, playing D&D for a long time now, I feel like, but it's kind of crazy when you start to realize the amount of stuff that exists out there.
And this one even
Like
tells
this,
you like where the stuff is from.
this is amazing. This is a tool that I feel like more DMs should have access to and use.
This is the kind of stuff you want to throw on your digital DM screen.
Oh, 1,000%.
I'm not. I was a little worried that all my players will be looking. I've looked up a lot of ice things, but I think they already know what's coming. So
I think I know what's coming too.
Years.
Waiting for this moment for years. Years. Folks, I want you to understand that I've known about the moment that Kami will probably tell us about after his next session for years. He spoke to me about this event years ago, at which time I gave my blessing. Now, it seems like it may finally occur. Years later.
Which is, it's so funny that my players like they don't want to do any downtime and what have you, and they want to do everything. And now one of them is like, I think we just need to. So many things in my campaign are happening right this second that they can't possibly do all of them, but there's so much stuff
They
to do.
accidentally triggered too much.
Yeah, they triggered way too much at one point, and our Grimjack, his character Grimalkin, well, out of character, he's like, I think what we need to do is we just need to time skip right now. And the rest of the players are like, what? And he's like, I think we need downtime so we can learn new things. Can we just like take 2 weeks in game time to go do something? And they're like, no, people are dying.
I applaud your players for realizing how bad of an idea that would have been. I applaud your players for having the wherewithal and common sense to realize like that is the worst thing they could do in their current situation. Like true kudos to them because not gonna lie, they they probably deserve it.
Good times. Good times.
Same.
The third tool for today is my preferred D&D 5e stat block generator. And by stat block generator, I mean to give you that feel like this stat block popped right out of one of the books. And you might be looking at that screen right now and being like, oh, that's a random stat block. No, that is actually a stat block that I have made, because the cool thing about this particular stat block generator is that you can actually download the file. You don't have to make it an image. You also can download an image if you just want to slap that somewhere. But you can download the file of your stat block and re-upload it, so you can edit it.
That's amazing.
And I was like, oh, it's the first time I've seen a tool like this that worked that way.
This is actually dope.
So, if you guys would like to check out this stat block generator, if you're on YouTube, you can for sure click the description. If you're on, wow, I think that was actually perfect timing. The other one just ran out. But stat blocks, if you're on Twitch, I shared the link and pinned it for the next 30 minutes for the DMs. I'm throwing it in here. I am changing the music because this is a little spoopier than we needed.
I mean, you can never go wrong with the spoopy.
It's true. It's true. Oh, no. It put Skylanders music in there too. That's not what I wanted, but okay. I mean, I'll never say no to Skylanders music. It's good.
I know you won't.
But it wasn't what I was
can't.
looking for.
I don't think contractually you can.
True. True. Very true.
Like,
So.
I think if you try to, you get beaten.
It's true. Just as I also like that, if I recall correctly, the file type that it outputs is monster. I'll just double check that real quick, but I'm pretty sure it comes out as monster. Oh no, I have her file in a different folder. Oh boy! I'm never going to find it. Okay, save stat block, thank you. It does. .monster is the actual file type, which I think is hilarious.
Monster. Is that a spinoff to .hack?
It might be. It might be. And I use this for stat blocks when I want to show my players something. But you can also, they have a character generator and a magic item generator to also make them look like regular stat blocks. But it has all the font in there. It is arranged in the 2014 style. I don't think they updated it. As you can see, this is the 2014 style for stat blocks and stuff. But everything looks good here. It keeps the typing that you make. It also keeps formatting that you put in there. You can change it to 2 columns if you want, but I'm going to keep it to 1 column for this. The way you edit it, though, is you just scroll down to the bottom and type in the boxes of what you want it to be. Put in their name, their size, their type, their tags, their alignment. You put in their het box, and you can also put in custom HP. You put in their armor type, because this sheet will automatically determine their AC. Their speeds, if they have them. You can also put in custom speeds. You put in their basic stats, so that pops up at the top. You choose their saving throws, what they're proficient in. You choose their skills, what they're proficient in. You can add condition immunities if you want to. You can add vulnerabilities, resistances, and immunities, and you can put in their languages or if they have telepathy, and then their extra senses if they've got blind sight, dark vision, tremor sense, or true sight. And you add in all the abilities manually, so you can be like, oh, I have this ability, and then you order them in the order that you want them to be just by typing it in. So you can put in abilities, actions, bonus actions, or reactions as if they would appear on a normal sheet. And you can make words bold or put them in italics as well to make it so that it looks like a real sheet.
I am a real sheet.
I'm a real sheet now. And as you will notice, the reaction down here, I think I'm going to, if we happen to do show and tell, I'm going to talk about what I do with my spell scars. But as you'll see, this text box is enormous because every time I come up with an ability, I have to spend the next like 4 days figuring out how to close every loophole that my players will try to come up with. So all of my descriptions are excessively wordy to avoid that.
I mean, you have to be with your players because of some of certain, I will say, of certain members of your party. Not all, but certain members of your party are more witty than others, and will come up with some interesting solutions, to say the least. That if you don't plot ahead, they will find a way around.
Mm.
And again, you should be proud of them, but at the same time, it's like, could you not?
Yes, that is 100%. Can you just? How about you just don't? How about today you don't? Just today. You can do it later. Just today.
It's not right now.
Please, I'm begging you. But cool thing about this is you don't have to put in any of the modifiers. It determines them all by itself. It does all the math. Like it figures out what your con modifier is and all that jazz. So you don't got to do any of that, which is also
really
nice. So if you're playing paper but you're not 100% sure, you can technically use this stat block generator to figure out the math for your like features. Especially when it comes to creatures, because CR rating determines their proficiency bonus and blah 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 blah. It might be a little difficult if you're a new DM to figure out those little math questions. You can use this stat block generator to figure them out for you. This also means that it has its own. You choose the CR, but I was gonna say it does have some mathematical calculations it does for you. Not all, but some. And it's a public thing. It's on GitHub.
Again, it's another impressive tool that I really can't believe is free.
And cool thing about this is if you have, like we said with those tokens, if you want to take it the old school beat 'em up way and be like, oh, I'm going to take this creature, I'm going to change its color. Slightly more powerful dude. Awesome. You can go into the stat block generator, open the monster presets and be like, you know what? I want to make, we'll just say, I want to make a, I'm going to save her monster file just in case because I don't know where it is now. The files are super small. Like Annabelle as a character is DM Bacon's character's love interest, but she's also from the same group of Harpers that his character is from. Her file is only 4 kilobytes, so you can save a whole bunch of them like
they're
this.
tiny.
They're so small. But if you wanted to do a thing where, like we said with the tokens, you take that token, you change its color, say it's a slightly more powerful creature, you can be like, I want to do that. So you open up the Azer, and now you can just come down here and edit all the features of it. Be like, I want to start with an Azer, but I want this to be like a shielding Azer. So let me change his stats a little. You can open the monster preset, blah, 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 boom, and then be like, oh, I'm going to tweak a couple of these. And you can, right down here. Super simple.
That's actually super dope.
And then load stat block. Oh, I guess I've got a monster file here. Boom, it's back. Now I can fix what I need to fix. I had to do that many times to close all these loopholes at the bottom. And you can also view this whole page in just Markdown if you wanted to. Which means you can actually highlight this whole thing and throw it right on the home brewery.
Oh, damn.
Or you could just be like, hey, I want to view an image, and it'll just give you this straight image. And it'll look like you pulled it out of a book. I'm a big fan of the Statblock Generator. I have not used the magic item generator because if I'm going to make a magic item, for the most part, I just make them on D&D Beyond. I don't need to... If I hand my players a handout, chances are they're going to ignore it. So, barring that, there is a magic item generator here. And you can just generate an item, which... Oh! It's not the same as the stat blocks. This is just a randomly generated set of items. Or you can pull things out using stats from the DMG, or you can generate an item through Tetra, who I assume is one of the creators because tetra-cube is the website for this. But it gives you the items' properties and their origins. So now you have ideas on how to add this thing to your campaign.
It looks like it gives you some cool flavor to it, which, you know, we're all about the flavor.
Oh yes, give us the flavor.
Sadly, this was kind of a flavor-free episode. I feel like,
true.
I feel like we weren't as spicy, but don't worry.
There will for sure be more. Don't y'all worry. It's also a character generator, which if you come over here, you can be like, oh, I want to make a dude. And it legitimately just makes you a dude. I'm going to select everything and then hit generate. And now we've got an Aarakocra fighter, arcane archer.
Oh.
Acolyte, female, 12 years. Gives you their flaws as if this was a full character sheet. Why did they get their current job? What they do? Why did they do the thing? Gives you a random appearance item so you can help differentiate them. Gives them a talent, a mannerism, and a trinket that you can note them by. And if you come down here, same thing as the regular stat block generator, you can come in and just edit all the stuff that you want.
This is again more useful than I think you would think to use it for.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need an NPC. You're like, yeah.
It's like they need a friend.
Bimbargle boom bop. Yeah, here's a stat block.
Need a friend. Okay, this is semi-related to specifically needing a friend, but I saw someone posted this house rule that they have, and their house rule is every campaign they basically make a set of cards and put them in envelopes, not unlike when you start to play the board game Clue, and they hand them out to their players. And their players can open the card when they need to at some point during the campaign and the envelope just says, "I know a guy." And when they open the card, or when they open the envelope, the card has in there some random guy they know that can probably help them out in some kind of situation. And it's just like a random NPC somewhere nearby in the world that they can call on for help. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And it's weird that specifically that popped up on my feed. And then for my campaign, I happened to be looking up a Pamash, which is basically a celestial raccoon. But they're from the Fate Forge universe.
Come on.
And their thing is that in the wild, they'll appear when a good person is lost. And they'll just appear like in the forest and they glow, so they'll lead you on your way and then they disappear. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I was looking at the stat block for it, and it has some spells that are regular D&D 5e spells, like it can cast etherealness, but it also has a bunch of spells that are specific to the Fate Forge universe. And they have a first level divination spell that when you cast it, it tells you the general direction and how far away the closest person who could help you out is. It doesn't tell you who they are, but it gives you their general vicinity. And when you get there, it could be someone that you know, or it could be someone that can help you for your specific quest. And I'm like, that is the most DM helping hand spell I've ever heard of, and it is fantastic.
That sounds like your DM was just like, here. I respect it.
And there's also a 7th level spell in the Fate Forge universe that basically summons a Pamash or other celestial creature that literally tells you where to go. Like, I'm not sure how to complete this quest. This guy will tell you the quest. However, there's a table that you roll on it that's like your guide has a quirk. And some of them are like, your guide doesn't like to talk to people, so make sure to only appear when only you're looking, so that you look like a crazy person. Or one of them is, your guide is bored, and it will steer you towards the most exciting thing, even if it's dangerous, on the way.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, these are, you can do so much with these.
Could my guide, like, not? Could they fucking not?
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. Oh, wait, can I? Oh, I can show you because I took a picture of him. I just gotta find it. One sec. I freaking love... Oh, I didn't take the picture of the Pamash himself. But... Boo. Hold on, let me see.
It's okay. We will not flog you unmercifully this time.
Dang it. I mean, oh. There he is.
I know you love a good flogging.
That's him. No, I just want you to get big. Oh, it took me to the Reddit page with him. Also, Studio Agate has some of the most beautiful art. The Fate Forge universe, I just love them, but this is a Pamash. Fantastic. I love it. You've probably never heard me say Studio Agate. Instead, I call them the Chinchilla folks because the first Kickstarter that I joined for them, they gave us a Chinchilla mini, and they're like, look at these new wizard familiars. Chinchillas! And our friend Heather lost it. So they've become the Chinchilla folks. They also have a board game which has takes place in the Fate Forge universe that has an expansion coming out soon called Fate Forge Chronicles of Khan. But it's not like Khan! Kaan! It's Kaan. I do own it. I have not taken it out of the box yet, though.
That's still calm.
Kaan!
It's more like can, but it counts.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But yes, that is a Pamar. I love them. Oh, here's Bayou Graph.
Leave biograph out of this.
You don't belong here, but yes, there is. You can just be like, boom, generate me a character that I think would come from the Sword Coast Adventurers guys. So just a random person living on living. What is wrong with me? Living on the Sword Coast. Boom, generate a character. Now you have donjon. I have.
Yes.
I think I used their treasure generator. And then
that is my suggestion as a last tool for the night.
okay. Yes. The very last thing here is just the PC options reference. It just basically tells you like, here's how you build a creature of this race. And then like,
I think that's handy.
Here's how you build stuff. Again, any reference is handy. Love it.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
like I am for it.
I'm going to donjon now. Oh yeah. What time is
So
it?
donjon, if you don't know, it is a site that I regularly use to generate things for myself.
I use our treasure generator.
But I've been using it more, and I will explain more about it during show and tell for my own game to compare treasure tables from previous tabletop RPGs.
Ooh.
And use them as use them for constructive purposes. So it is awesome. It is a huge help for generating big maps that I want for when I want random dungeons. I do a lot of campaigns with random dungeons. This is great for those because I can just slap down a quick dungeon map, and it's in a very simple form that my players love. But you can go extreme with donjon.
There's so many generators just within this, and it's not just for 5e. They have generators for Avatar Legends, for AD&D, just for any general D20 system.
They've got a star system generator. They got the Traveler system. They've got Blade Runners RPG in here. They got a Pathfinder. It just straight D20 fan. Like Akami said, they have everything in here. And quite honestly, this is kind of fun as a DM, I think, to sometimes play around with, especially some of the fantasy stuff for when you need to fill a town. You want to throw a random town in your player's way? Okay, cool. Well, you know what? I need a random town then. I can go right over here to the left-hand side. And right here under fantasy, they have adventures, inns, and at the bottom, random town generator. And you can set every bit of the random town generator. So much so to even giving it what real life culture you want the town to be based off of when it gives it real names, when it gives it names of areas. You can name it, set the size, set the land. It's very simple maps. It's very, 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 simple stuff. But at the bottom of the map, if you scroll down, Okami, it will give you it'll give you an entire lore of the town, including named NPCs and everything you would need to run this town as a section of your campaign or adventure. So if you go to where it says small town, you can click on the drop-down menu. And let's say we select something like village. Actually, no, let's go bigger. Let's go with large town.
Aw, snaps.
We're going to go mountain for the environment. We'll make the topography coastal. Actually, we'll make it an island.
We can normalize the cells, which just helps straighten stuff out. And we'll keep it any race, and we'll set it to a Greek culture. Boom, we've just come up with an entire map.
Also, I love that any race, both of the towns that it's generated for me have been primarily human with some kobold.
Mm-hmm.
Really likes kobolds.
So here we go. We've got it's also given it a name, Veritov. So here we go. Oh, wait, we're about to switch it up again. Stream's catching up, so. But Veritov, yes. It gave us approximately 4,100 people, 4,300 people. It's got a merchant background, and this is
Seems
just
like kobolds.
random stuff. Look, they're backed by a genie named Nemi. Like, that's an entire background lore you can work into this area if you wanted. If your players ever wanted to take a side quest and you needed a town,
Ooh.
boom, here you go. Drop a town on them. I am a huge fan of open adventure style campaigns where I will give the players a goal and let the players find their way to it in the world. I think most DMs really enjoy that style. I think most D&D is that way, but I like to add in the idea of random encounters in terms of dungeons and things of that nature a lot more than I do like to add real story beats sometimes. And I do that because I want players to play the game how they want. And a lot of times my players tend to go off the beaten path. I think you can attest to that for your own players too, Valley.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I think my way to rein them in, and it doesn't work because the shit I've seen some of my players come up with over the years, the past at least 3 years that I've been DMing now, actually a little bit longer, but the past few years I've been DMing, I can say that I've watched players come up with the most outrageous ways to think outside of the box. That sometimes I have to just sit there and just go, like, what were you thinking about when you came up with this? Like, who hurt you? Who did this to you? Like, who did this? I've seen some stuff. I've seen some players come up with some maddening things. But this website is great for those kind of moments where I need to slap them someplace quick because, it's an island adventure and they're going island to island and they've been shipwrecked. I need an island for them to be shipwrecked on. Well, boom. I can generate an island. Oh, I need them to have, you mentioned the treasure generator. Treasure generators come from all over the place, and the treasure generators are pretty good on this too. You can go, to the D20 fantasy one. They have the they've recently added 5.5
I see
to their
that.
thing for quick reference and spell sheets, and a random generator for class, for like generating quick classes. But the quick class generator is kind of very like clumbered together. It's not perfect. And it kind of just comes up with like somewhat mini background stuff and not all real classes. Some of its background, some of its classes, like it'll give you just like a random person for NPCs, but you can also change, it only gives you NPCs, but you can also change the spell books as well. It's fun. If you need to just, find a spell book for a player, I don't really, for a wizard, you can do that here. Treasure maps are fun. There's a lot to play around with here. You can, I've seen people go as far, oh yeah, you open up the quick reference sheet, which is great.
I was like, oh no, I can't get back. And then I was like, oh, it's just a new tab. Thank y'all.
They give you the spells for 5.5.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
You might use this or 5e tools to look at the new spells to compare them because they are now locked as well on D&D Beyond.
You can use this. You can use this. It has a lot. If you're into other TTRPGs, this has Pathfinder. I'm going to tell you to click on the Pathfinder power attack generator calculator, Okami. Not because we at the DM Roundtable really look into Pathfinder much, but it gives, if you've ever never seen Pathfinder's idea of what a power attack is, which is really and truly an enhanced attack. This is how much you have to calculate if you take a look at it.
There's so much math.
Yeah. And there's even more to break down. Like your extra attacks, what your critical modifier is. Are you a ×2 modifier or a ×5 modifier? Yes, I said ×5.
Woo-wee.
Oh, additional modifiers. If you click on the additional modifiers section and just scroll down to additional
yeah. Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Minus
So
20 to plus 40.
And target AC can go anywhere from like 5 to 105. So you got you got to realize that like this is, and all of this is to do an attack at 1.5 times your normal damage. So this isn't even calculating the fact you're also doing 1.5 times your normal damage when you do a power attack. You can do a lot of damage.
The modifiers here, I've already said this before, but when I run a creature, I roll the health for every creature that my players run into, just so that none of them are metagaming, looking at the stat block for some reason and being like, oh, he's got this much health. So I was rolling some characters yesterday, and they're homebrew creatures, and they don't have their hit dice listed. They just have a set amount of health. And I was like, oh, no, I'm not going to do that. And so I came up with a little stupid system for myself to change their health, and I ended up going through all the dice. I would flip a coin, and if it came up heads, I would keep flipping it until it came up tails, and then I'd add that many dice. But I was going in order, so the first guy got D4s, then D6s, then D8s, etc. And it ended up one of the guys was getting D20s, and I rolled like 3 or 4 heads, and then I rolled the D20s, and I was like, oh, these are Pathfinder numbers now. Just adding Pathfinder numbers onto this guy. I can't wait till that guy comes out in particular, because I think I rolled like 7 or 8 of that one particular creature, but one of them has way more health than all the rest of them. And I was like, it's random. I didn't do it on purpose. It's random. Good luck.
That's the beauty of it. You can be like, yeah, I didn't do it. It wasn't my choice. The dice told me to do it.
Mm-hmm. Now you gotta use your math rocks.
This site really is amazing. It is a bunch of tools that, once again, like I said, I like to have all of my stuff in one place if I can. This is great for me. Like, there's this one option, all right, and I'm going to suggest it to people for if you ever have a bunch of people who are willing to play a mindless game of RNG. TTRPG RNG. So you have to all be very open-minded. You have to agree to this ahead of time and kind of plan it out a little bit. But there's an option on the left side, Okami. On the left side, if you go under fantasy, there's an option called the Endless Oubliette. It is an unending dungeon that randomly generates as you scroll down.
This is even cooler than I'm a patron of oh my God, what is your name? Oh no, Moonlight Maps. Moonlight Maps has a never-ending dungeon that like people suggest things to Moonlight Maps, and he adds another room on whenever he feels like it, and so it's just a folder of a dungeon that never ends. But this is, this is, this is. I thought it was getting smaller as I scrolled. No.
So at the bottom, it gives the shout out to Dyson's Dodecahedron, which is a geomorph mapping project that from 2010. So this is an old process, but it gives them links to some cool stuff. It talks about geomorph sets and how it randomizes things. But basically, you could have just a blast in here. I would love to do it one day if you just have the right DM run you through monsters that you encounter and just set up a level cap for your players with random rooms that you just call healing rooms. And the thing about it is if you really wanted to, you could just keep generating dungeons on the left side and another tab and pulling the room encounter options out of them for this, because it will, if you go back to donjon, it will actually, if you go to the random dungeon generator, if you construct a dungeon with them, just any dungeon, it will number the dungeon with doors, and you can download a full dungeon guide with working doors. So you can download it as a JSON, a PDF, an HTML page. A dungeon map is a TSV for certain table. I think it's like certain tabletop, like tablet things. I forget what TSV is fully used for. Or you can just download a version of the map for just players, a print to scale map, or just download the map completely. And it comes attached, if you open it, with the map and a PDF full of things to, well, no, not this version. There's a version that will actually, hold on, where was it? There's a version that you can download, and it will give you the dungeon and how it runs.
Oh, I think I had to hit generate.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But here's a whole level 1 dungeon.
To
and you can go
print to
further.
scale is huge. Trying to explain I have tons of digital maps, and trying to explain to my players that the digital maps they're drawn to digital scale. They make sense digitally. Trying to explain to them that they are not print to scale at the beginning was so infuriating. And they're like, just print them and then tape them together. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Your printer, they're not made to be printed. You need to do that like you have to fix them before you can print them, or every page will be a different size. Yeah.
Or you have to send it out to a place. Like I downloaded the print to scale version of it. It is a 2551 by 3251 file. I can't print that.
Mm-mm.
Where am I printing that?
Yeah, it's not happening.
You have to send that out to be specially printed and then mailed back to you on poster paper.
Yeah.
Like you have to know someone who owns a print shop.
This is so cool.
Or maybe like a Staples or a Kinko's if those places still exist. I know Staples. I don't know about Kinko's.
For those of you who are physical DMs, well, obviously the scale like of the oubliette is enormous. Physical DMs, if you want a somewhat similar experience where the dungeon is essentially randomly generating itself, games like League of Dungeoneers and I think the other one is actually called Dungeon Doors. The way that dungeon is built is there is a deck of cards, and every time your players, I think League of Dungeoneers, there's no DM per se. So you as a group go through a door. Whenever you open a door, you draw a card from the dungeon deck, and the dungeon deck shows you the layout of the next room, not necessarily what's in it, but like the basic shape, and then you grab those dungeon tiles and slap them on to where you open the door. So there are ways to sort of simulate this if you're a physical DM as well. And if you don't have dungeon tiles to slap on, you can always... One of the very first things I did was I found a site that just lets you make a graph, basically, and you choose the size and the shape.
Ooh.
And I printed out a whole bunch of pages of that, and then I put shelf liner over them to laminate them. And that way you can dry erase on them all you want and just keep reusing them. So I have a ton of papers like that. That's a good way to start, especially if you're brand new, because shelf liner is so cheap and you're just
Yeah.
printing the graph over and over and over again. Sorry, the grid over and over again, and then you just doodle the map. You can also do something like that, like, oh, draw a card that has a basic shape on it, and then just draw that on your little sheet. Doesn't have to be it doesn't take a lot. You think it takes a lot to wow your players, but realistically it doesn't. If you're engaging them, if everyone's having fun, it doesn't matter how beautiful your dungeon is.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest too.
As long as you
Go ahead.
get it right. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's all about getting it right, and also putting your players in mortal danger at every turn. You want your players to have a good time in a dungeon? Threaten them.
They have to know they can die.
Yeah, I need... Look, some people think that I'm a mean DM. That's not the case. Okay? And I say that because I don't kill my players. I let the dice do that. And to be honest, only like 3 of my players across multiple campaigns have actually died.
It is surprisingly difficult, especially in
Yeah.
5e, to kill a player.
There is one instance of a TPK in my history. And that is only because I adamantly tried to stop the player from breaking the glass around the orb of annihilation. I said, hey, that glass is very frail. Be careful when fighting around it. That was what the NPC said to them when they started to fight the guy trying to steal it. Someone decided to cast Shatter.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, none of mine are the same shape. And to be fair, I notice it, but my players don't, for the most part.
Oh, they'll never know.
My players are like, ew, why are you using 2 different minis if they're the same creature? Because I don't have infinite squishy porcupine frogs, okay? I'm doing the best I can.
Do better. No, you're doing great.
But yes, continue with your story. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I had one of the wizard NPCs cast a shield spell around this glass case. And it was a homebrew spell that was kind of like a glass case kind of spell, but it acted like a shield that you could put around something else. And the player was just like, oh, it's glass-like? Cool. I cast Shatter. He broke through. I rolled for both I rolled for both things. And he got through and shattered the protective
glass around the orb of annihilation that then proceeded to drag him and his party into it and end the session 45 minutes into the session. I looked at them, they looked at me, I looked at them, and I kind of just said, hey, so we can try from a different point of this story in the world. And you guys can just be new players at like half the level you guys were because I told you not to do it.
Mm. Mm.
They didn't want to play.
Boo.
No, I was okay with that. I was okay with that. That was one of the few times that I think I was like, I don't want to do this right. That party in particular was very taxing. I'll just say it like that. They're a very taxing party on me, and I was just like, thank you, universe, for killing them.
I can understand that too.
He took himself out.
Yeah. You did it to yourself.
Took himself out. I didn't have to do anything. So there you go. GM fact. If you need to kill your players, throw an orb of annihilation with frail glass.
I think I read that in the new DMG that there is an orb of annihilation creature.
I am sorry. What?
I don't. Man.
So I'm pretty sure you just said words that made a sentence that my brain processed.
Can't find it.
But
I
couldn't
swear that
accept.
just came up. It must have come up on my phone in one of the things where someone was like, yeah, there's a creature for it now. I'm like, but why?
There's a creature.
That it's basically just a floating sphere of annihilation. I think it's sentient. I think.
So we didn't feel fear before, I'm guessing. Huh? We must not. Someone at WotC must have heard us talking shit and said, oh.
Yep. The blob of annihilation.
Sorry, run that one by me again.
Thank you, 5e Tools, because it's here. It is a CR23 ooze.
The blob of annihilation. Santa Maria. The hell is this? Why is the abyss looking back at me? This is too much even for me.
Oh, he's a oh, so we can kaiju him? Awesome.
No.
Well, actually, you probably can't climb him because you just get sucked in now that I think about it.
Yeah, I don't think you want to climb the... I mean, maybe you want to end your character faster, so maybe you do want to climb the Oro Annihilation. It's a pseudopod. It's got engulf. That's...
It doesn't really have like a... It doesn't have a cool... Like, it has the implosion thing, but it's not... I don't know, I was expecting it to, like, suck people up and disintegrate them. Technically, it's doing necrotic.
It decays. It decays them as a legendary action.
Kind of, but, like, astral implosion could be so much cooler than just vomiting you into the astral sea. When this guy dies, I want him to take out the country.
You want
You want treaty level annihilation, and I respect it. You want treaties defining annihilation, and I can't deny you, because I too love it.
The new DMG, or is this the DMG or the Monster Manual? Monster Manual. It has the word shit in it. Oh my god. Honey, I've seen
Lots of getting
horrors that will
edgy.
make you shit your drawers and reach for the nearest drink. And then there's the blob of annihilation. If you see it, run. And if you can't get away from it, just hope you dissolve fast.
Well, if you're an NPC with 4 HP, you're going real quick. It goes down.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry.
Wow. 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 Oh, I mean, I guess you could try mining it, kind of, sort of. Oh, its pseudopod doesn't even deal necrotic damage or acid. It does force damage. Interesting.
That unexpected kind of damage. Force. Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah, I did not see that coming.
Okay, okay. Being that I love any of the guide series, so like Heliana's or Ryoko's, this just tells me that there's creature minus this one, because I'm pretty sure you can't climb it. That eventually players in my games are going to have to Shadow of the Colossi. Just climb up them and then extract their essence. Oh
yeah,
yes.
it's gonna happen.
Oh, yes.
Listen, you can climb a dragon and stab it in the head.
Yes.
You just gotta make a strength check every turn to hold on.
I love this. Oh, but I didn't forget. Don't worry. I know it just got small. Hold on, that will be fixed in a minute. I got to open this because we finished tools number 1. We did
Yes,
it.
we did.
Which means that I'm going to put up the poll options. I'm going to throw them straight up in the YouTube chat. I'm going to run 2 polls on Twitch chat. Make it easy. Next week's topic. But as the community, you guys get a vote in addition to us as the DMs for what the topic will be next week. And the new option that is on this one that wasn't there before. Here, I'll make it bigger. That way, at least you can see all of it. Is show and tell, because we were thinking a lot about that. And we talked about it a bit. So show and tell is now the new option, which took the place of tools, which obviously was this episode.
And show and tell, I think it'll be an interesting one. Because it's going to have us show off, hopefully, some cool stuff to you. Hopefully some stuff that you guys enjoy. And I think some interesting things for us as well.
Yeah, and hopefully, I know that the thing that I'm going to share, I already talked a little bit about today, but I'm going to tell you all about what I do with spell scars and stuff. I think that that's my first one, and it's just super simple. Anyone can add it to their game if you play in a world that has the spell plague or a spell plague equivalent. Hopefully you guys want to add them to your games too.
Plague and famine. No. Hopefully no plague and famine enter your games.
Or do they? Not enough people use diseases, man.
This is also true.
Oh, while we're on donjon though, and that first poll is going, those polls are 5 minutes long, but the poll to decide the topic as a whole concludes 24 hours after the stream ends. give or take a couple hours, because sometimes I forget to put the poll out. I
Yeah.
use Donjon's treasure generator, and just like 5e tools is, you can set it to individual treasure with items, treasure hoard, or treasure hoard with salvage, which honestly is kind of cool, because a lot of times salvage is just like, oh, there's just like pieces of junk in there. My noodle dragon. Show and tell. At some point, I should. I don't know if I can give you a whole tour of my minis, but I'll go through some cool minis probably. Maybe not like this show and tell, but like. Actually, hold on. Give me 1 sec, because I pulled out a different noodly dragon that I will be using.
That is.
One
that,
moment.
We gotta work on the phrasing on that one.
It was. Just do it now. Okami has disappeared and I'm scared. I am so frightened. He just disappeared on me for like
Okay, I'm back.
13 calendar seconds. You're welcome back.
All right, AI camera, I'm coming on. Different noodly dragon, but this is one of the ones I got from Griffin Co. way back when. Where's the camera? Here's the camera. Come on, focus. A much smaller noodly dragon. Come on, you can focus. But he's got crystals, which I needed for reasons. But I didn't have a frost salamander to use, so he's going to take the place. And then I have... I should have grabbed those too. That was stupid of me. I didn't think of that until just now. I found a guy online who just made sheets of... let me switch back to you. Who just made sheets of bases, so that you can just throw out like a generic one that says like this guy's large, what have you. And I cut them out, and then I put sticky foam underneath them, so they have like, they're up a little bit. Whenever I have a creature that doesn't seem like that guy's frost salamander is huge, and that guy's clearly not a huge base. He's like just barely large.
That's cool.
I'll take one of those discs out and use them. And I said way back when, I actually have another printout of that page of bases to cut out that I'll make like an arts and crafts video, and I will do that at some point.
Some point down the future.
I didn't grab the huge one specifically for this because the last time I used it, the same huge token, mine's covered in blood, and it's actual blood. And I say covered, it's not really covered. But it's got blood all over it because I was using the Bloodborne, the big spider mini, and I ripped my cuticle off on the spider mini and didn't realize it. And so the base has blood all over it. And I didn't notice until like they killed the creature, and I was like, huh. I didn't expect him to actually get bloodied. And then I was like, oh, it's me.
I don't. This is, folks. This is why you need to submit money to us to help Okami, because
shit like this happens, and I worry for his safety, and I am concerned. I feel like I gotta show up. I feel like I gotta show up now and just be like, stop.
Fist, yeah, I was devoted. That's all. Just devoted. I see you guys put in a vote for items. So
are we calling that devotion now? Is that what we're calling devotion?
Someone's gotta bleed. Don't bleed for your Warcraft unless you really want to, or there's like a Hemomancer in your group.
Hemomancer. It's not a job most people want to take, but it's a messy job, but somebody's got to do it.
Maps. Again, one of these options is mini supplements. That's not about your minis. It is just a supplement that we can get through in one session. So not a homework, which usually takes multiple sessions. I did the thing again where I miscounted, huh? Yep. Whoops. I started a little early. Oh, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be in alphabetical order, so that's fine.
Oh, yeah, you're fine.
Whatever.
They'll be okay.
It's because backgrounds feats I put in 1 and I keep counting that as 2. And then I'm like, that ain't right.
The boy ain't right, I'll tell you what.
That boy ain't right, I tell you what. But yeah, the Asian dragon, or should I guess technically be a weird looking Kieran. He is from Griffin Co. from I think just before they stopped. If you don't know what Griffin Co. is, they are a site that makes GIFs, and they had a huge like 3D printing lab at one point where their family was just like pumping stuff out, and they were making 3D prints. They would get the licenses for like every single crowdfunding there was, and they would print the minis. They recently changed it up so that they're only printing big things, because printing the minis takes up so much time, because then they have to like collate them into the correct groups for each customer and what have you. So they're no longer printing individual minis, but they are still doing terrain and other stuff in addition to the more like coasters and CNC machined things that they also do. But big fan of Griffin Co. in any capacity. I'm sorry for offending your... I mean, this guy's kind of weird looking, but I needed the ice crystals for reasons. For reasons. That's definitely the me getting the specific things ready for what happens next in my campaign has been like a long time coming, and me like building the encounter and stuff. I'm like, oh, they could die here. And it's rare that I say they could die here. But a frost salamander is a pretty strong creature, all things considered.
Tell you hug it.
You want to make friends? Duh.
Yeah.
Duh. I want to... What do they have for just regular D20? Oh, it's got an initiative tracker too. Cool.
I'm telling you, they got everything. They really
much
have
stuff
just
here.
about everything. Yeah, like you could do a lot here. Even the fact you can generate a magic shop.
That's nice.
You can generate it by location. So, like, if you want a small hamlet magic shop, that's just like a scribe. He'll give you a bunch of scrolls, and it'll be like very neutral. It'll be like, very like system neutral. That's what our word is in front of.
There's even a science fiction generator. Jimothy, wherever you might be.
Oh yeah, you want to generate a sci-fi world?
Yeah.
Create new Theoth, which just gave me an entire. It just gave me an entire planet with the star background. Like, it's pretty. It's an amazing system.
You can even make your world be in weird shapes.
Yes. You can have a weird name generator. It has a Cthulhu Mythos weird name generator.
Oh, that's cool. I want an unspeakable name.
We'll call you Nachorla.
I like
It's one of those
soft
things.
nacha. That sounds
How
like
about-
something. That sounds like a slur in the Star Wars universe.
It really does. I feel like you just called me something. I have to fight you. I really think we might have to fight now.
There's donjon has a lot of stuff. Like we shared a bunch of tools here that like we use one or two things there, but there's so many tools built into all these sites now, which is great. Sometimes that's what you need. Everything in one place. Ooh, but I do have a question specifically for you, DM Shin.
Yes.
How many screens do you have when you DM? Okay, no, I need to rephrase that. How many computer screens do you have running when you DM?
Okay.
That makes more sense.
So normally when I DM, if I'm home, I have 3 and my tablet open. Because what I'll have is I'll have the game board for my players and what they see on Roll20. And then I'll have another Roll20 account signed in that's my DM account so that I can affect the board.
Ooh.
And then I have another screen with all the stuff I need for that situation that I'm dealing with. And then my tablet is usually for when I need to remember what their characters can do or check spell stuff and things like that. It can get pretty chaotic. I'm not looking forward to when my girlfriend eventually sees this on a regular basis. Because she's gonna be like, I've been with this man for years and I don't know who he is. Who is this man that I share a home with? I know she's gonna be confused. Because she's gonna hear voices and she's gonna see 3 screens and none of it's gonna make sense. Because that's the part I really have to explain why I'm speaking in voices at various points to myself.
So
yeah, it's not going to be easy. It'll not be my easiest conversation.
Okay, I made Annabelle Larkin as a character before DM Bacon was dating his fiance, but she came to one session and his fiance was. I was like, "Oh, I have a character you can play. It makes perfect sense. It's his paramour in game." And she was like, "Okay, cool." Except that his fiance, he uses a specific voice that sort of sounds like he's DM Bacon's voice for his character is slightly edited Black Widow with a heavy accent, and whenever he opens his mouth to speak in that voice, his fiance bursts into hysterical laughter, so she won't play with us anymore because they can't do anything. We can't do anything without her bursting into hysterical laughter.
To be fair, I get it. I have done voices in front of people before. I had when I was playing D&D early on during the pandemic. At one point, I broke the rules and I escaped my home, quarantine elsewhere for a week with
Nah.
some individuals that had all tested negative for COVID. But I was playing D&D on a Thursday night that I usually play, and they were overhearing me because they were all just kind of watching movies and stuff like that. I told them like I didn't want to lose my game time and stuff. And they overheard my voice for my character at the time that DM Bacon was in. And they were just like, what is happening? Well, who people who know me and speak to me normally know the two different voices I use during the day. And I say that because I have my work voice and then my regular voice. Okami can attest to that.
It's true.
But I really go the distance for my D&D characters. Or I try to, and it puts my voice in pitches that I don't think I maintain well for long periods of time. But I still try.
As a DM, I used to have specific voices for so many characters, but I realized that the way my players play, they're constantly trying to, like, my players, I don't know if this is a testament to them or just like the way that they are as human beings, but like they truly don't want NPCs to feel left out as if they are also players. And I have to, if any NPCs are nearby, they have to join like every conversation. And it is impossible for me to keep their accent straight. So now I try to I'll only do an accent if it is for a very specific character. And like I'm not trying to do it for every character because I can't keep those conversations going. But like sometimes I want to be like, you know that these NPCs aren't real. Like they're just a thing I created at the table or that someone who wrote this book created. Like it's not real. You don't have to worry about hurting their players' feelings. I'm the player. I'm sitting right here.
Not for long.
But I did want to ask you how many screens because my players seem to think I'm getting a little excessive, but I have four computers running. I have the computer that has Discord running so our online player can see what's going on, and that has a camera attached to it, and then we have like another camera somewhere. And now all my players, not all of them, but most of them brought a webcam of some kind to connect to their machines. So our online player gets like 8 views now, which is kind of cool. And then that one runs Discord, and I keep their stat blocks open on it. And then I now have a computer to my left that I just run the D&D Beyond encounters on, because for some reason, if I run a D&D Beyond encounter on my laptop that we're running Discord on, every third stat block that I open, it kicks me out of the encounter builder. And I have no idea why. But the other computer, totally fine. And then I have the jukebox machine is set up on my right, and I have a separate monitor connected to that because the jukebox machine is a laptop. And the separate monitor has the D&D music overhaul list and the songs page on it. And then the actual jukebox machine. Usually I have 2 separate Discord accounts that like I send myself notes for. One of them is the jukebox account. That's the all speaking. If there's like a specific song I want to play somewhere during the campaign, I'll send it to that account and then open that up. And then the all seeing is the account that we use for one of the cameras in the room. And I send him all my like D&D information. So the jukebox account is like open, and I have that, and then it plays the music there too. I have those 4,
I
but
feel
then
like
I usually
in
have
an-
a phone somewhere.
I feel like in an ideal situation, you would have one desktop that was really powerful, running all of that in a room that was set up for everything properly,
Yeah, that would be nice.
and then you wouldn't need 19 devices.
or like the DM Bacon setup, where he's got I think it's 4 monitors, but it's like two two vertically, and then there's like 2 horizontal attached to those, so it's like a plus sign of monitors.
Oh my god.
Like if I had all the monitors on one machine, it would probably make sense. Yeah, that's another way. I've also found that way back in the day, I read somewhere someone was like, instead of giving each of your characters an accent, give them a quirk, whether it be something that they do physically or something that they add to their speech, and use those to differentiate your characters, especially if there's a lot of them in a group. Hello. And I do that a lot too. Even if the thing that I'm doing, like the leader of DM Bacon's Harper group in our campaign, he's only recently discovered this, but she has a magic item. She wears like a witch's hat, but the witch's hat has a downloaded consciousness of everyone else who's attuned to the hat. And as like a quirk, I would have her like rub the brim of the hat, and now they know she's not just doing it, like that's how she invokes the other consciousnesses in the hat. Now they know she's been talking to other people this whole time. But at first it was just like a physical quirk that she had, because I didn't want to do a voice for her. I couldn't figure out what her voice should sound like, besides like raising my voice a little higher because it's a girl.
That makes sense. That, to me, that makes sense, which might not make a lot of sense.
I'm obviously not wearing a witch's hat. I do have some players that get dressed up though. DM Bacon has his character's a warlock of the Dawn Titan, Megara. So to symbolize that he's still within his pact, he has a ring. So he bought like a really cool ring that has like an inscription on the inside. I forgot what it says, but it looks like it's made of magma. It's not actually a magma ring, but it looks like it. And he puts that on when he's playing, and he has a cloak that he wears because his character is mysterious. And then I got him the Talizora Infinity Scarf from Mass Effect, because the Harpers have purple scarves. So he technically does get dressed up to play.
You know, I respect it.
Yeah. I'm sure it doesn't help the laughing fits his fiance has, though.
Can't save everything, all right? Gotta make sacrifices somewhere.
Gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, if you players of all classes out there would like to also try to put in a vote for the community vote, remember, you can, those of you on Twitch, I know you already put in your votes, but for those of you on YouTube, you can leave a comment, you can hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on the Discord, whatever, to put in your vote. Come find us. There's links everywhere. And the last thing, donjon is not in the description yet, but it will be when I go and fix the video tomorrow after YouTube says that it has been uploaded. Because I don't know if any of you guys run into this, but when you live stream on YouTube now, it does become a VOD, but it doesn't fully convert everything and let you edit the stuff until It seems like there's at least a 12-hour delay. It could be based on how long the stream is, though. I'm thinking that has something to do with it, like it's re-rendering for some reason. But yeah, got a poll for next week. And... Ooh. I mean, if DM Bacon was in booty shorts, no one would complain. If Grimjack was in booty shorts,
I would
everyone
complain that
would
I
be
wasn't
talking
there.
about
I would complain I wasn't there.
it. He's gonna be like, why is everyone talking about me in booty shorts? Why?
Oh, he
Why?
woke up in a cold sweat just now.
Probably. He's
I know he just
he's
had,
under the
he's about to
frightened
have a
condition.
nightmare. He's about to have a nightmare because we talked about his yeets 3 times before Thursday. Break to a cold sweat.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us for Tools number 1. Now we have a better gist of how subsequent Tools episodes will run, which is cool.
Yeah, I think we went through it pretty well. I will hope that we didn't dawdle too long on one of the tools. So I wanted us to make sure that we kind of gave them all, I guess, equal time.
Mm.
Because I know when we were doing, I think I have that natural fear of don't have another 18 episode in power.
Yeah, we're all scared of how long we can take now, which is not good, but also in some way that is good. Like we want to get through what we want to share with you.
Yeah, we want to remain aware.
Oh, also another reason that at the very beginning of the stream, I was talking about how I've been running some tests lately, and I did, in fact, run some multi-camera tests. I have to run some more, but as of right now, I know for sure I can run 2 extra cameras off of my laptop in like the area that we play TTRPGs and board and card games. And I'm not, again, I have zero intention of ever filming or streaming my campaign because I know you guys will hate my players. So I have no intention of doing that. But should I run one-shots or other things, if I can get at least a camera more up and running, I think that also makes it more feasible.
Which means you should subscribe to the free side of the Patreon.
It's
Because
free.
it does exist. There's free. It will let you know things. If you have more money, go ahead and kick some back to them. But yes, please make sure that if you can, join the free Patreon. Mostly because it just kind of shows Patreon that he's got something cool to join.
Yeah. And
it's free.
Listen, even though I have the tier where I hand out notes, most of the posts that I make are free anyway.
Free.
It's free. 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 Let's be on the streaming service. Oh my god, yes. Oh man. Okay. I've been watching a lot of VODs as I catch up in videos and stuff that I had in my watch later. And I'm seeing more and more folks that are basically not borderline, they're like way over the line antagonistic towards people who are not actively giving them money. And I'm just like, but why? Like, if you are spending your time, like this person is clearly spending their time hanging out with you, even if it's a parasocial relationship, what have you. But if you spend your time in return belittling them, what makes you think, number one, they're going to come back? And number two, that they're going to want to give you stuff after you were a jerk? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what horse you're on, but I think someone needs to shoot it. And you. Like,
Probably you first, to be quite honest.
like why
Honestly,
are you like this? It is clearly not a high horse, whatever it is. Maybe it's crawling, so that means you're like head height for the headshot, which is fine. They really are. Like, hey, these people want to come hang out with you. Like, you don't have to be a dick about it, because they're not like throwing dollar bills at you. Like, why? They want to hang out. Let them hang out. That's just my 2 cents, I guess. I shouldn't have used a money metaphor in this case, but whatever. Anyway, we'll see y'all next week, and probably DM Lacara will join us next week for whatever we happen
This
to
is
have
true.
as a topic.
This
Maybe
is
we can
true.
even get some other DMs to come join us. Hopefully.
We'll try. We're gonna try. But until then, folks, thank you for joining us. And most importantly, if you're looking to kill your players, just remember, all you got to do is throw an orb of annihilation somewhere.
Give him an orb of annihilation, I promise you.
And then you can be like, did I do that? But actually, it was just your players. What's this? The consequences of their own actions?
Yes. Yes. Consequences. Yes. Support this.
It's just the way it is sometimes. It's
But
whack.
till then, folks.
I'm here for the community. Though not
This
like
is
the
true.
TwitchCon community. I'm not going to.
We're not going to build a round table house.
Yes, I'm not going to TwitchCon or VidCon. I think is that still the YouTube equivalent? I think that's the YouTube equivalent. I do like cons, but not that much. So yeah, we will see you players of all classes next week. And until then, come hang out on the Discord. Hang out in comments on videos and stuff. Say hello. Come play with us. It's fun. Okay, bye everyone. Bye. I'm gonna kill Twitch first. Bye. Bye. I'm waving. You can't see it. I don't know why I do this every time, but I'm waving.
Because it's instinctive,
Yeah.
and you only know how to. It's okay.
Goodbye,
find it again.
YouTube. I will no longer be live. That is, in fact, the